There we go. Okay. So why don't we do a quick room of introductions. You could just say your name, pronouns if you have preferred pronouns, and then maybe your role on the council.
Do you mind if I give the date and time?
Sure.
Today, January, DD Advisory Council Bottom County meeting. Would love to do an introduction back to Amy. Thank you.
Okay, so why don't we start first with our new folks in the room. These are our new members of the advisory council. So let's see, we have Bruce and Lyra here. Do either one of you want to start?
Sure, I can do that. I'm Bruce. This is my first meeting. And I'm a pastor in Milwaukee. I live in Clackamas. My youngest son has a traumatic brain injury and goes to Gladstone High School, and part of that is what led me in this direction and to end up applying for a position on the board.
Well, welcome, Bruce. We are really excited to have you after many, many months of waiting. Yes.
Thank you. We are too.
All right. Lyra?
My name is Lyra. My pronouns are they, them, their, and I am not 100% sure what my role would be called. Client, self-advocate.
Someone with lived-in experience.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lyra. We're so excited you're here.
Thanks.
Kim popped on this.
Kim, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I can. I was just going to wait for if the members were going first or not, but I'm happy to go next. My name is Kim Coda. I use she, her pronouns. If I sound stuffy, I apologize. If I start coughing, I doubly apologize. I am one of the program managers for the Developmental Disabilities Program for Clackamas County. Been with the county for about 9 years, a little over 9 years. And I've been in the developmental disabilities field for about 35 years. So I'm blessed to be a part of Clackamas County's DD program and to be supported by the advisory council. So Colleen, you want to go next?
My name's Colleen Johnston, she, her pronouns. I am a parent of an individual who, when I started down the advisory, was under 18 and is now 18. So he is autistic, and you probably saw him popping in the background. So, Sarah, you want to go?
Which one?
I'll go. Sorry. I use she, her pronouns. My name is Sarah Schwartz. I have an adult child with IDD, and yeah, my daughter graduated transition last June, and it has become more of a full-time job because of just planning, keeping her active. We have lots of fun things that we go and do, but she's had a number of medical things that have come up that are taking quite a bit of time. So anyway, I'm happy to be here, and welcome Bruce and Lyra.
Thank you.
Okay, I will go next, not to confuse you all, but my name is also Sarah. That's Sarah Lambert. I'm the co-chair of the council, and I am an adult foster care provider for folks with IDD, and I have been working with individuals for almost 25 years now. So welcome to our new members. We're really glad to have you here.
My name is John Merrick Russell. For the record, John Russell. I am in the role of this year's self-advocate position, and I am someone who took services much later in my life in ways of lived-in experiences and stuff like that. My contribution will go into both sides of the fence and try to understand both sides of where the disability community is and where we can move forward with inclusion, full education, and other ideals. Welcome to the new members. Tasha? Good to see you.
Everybody, my name is Shasta Kearnsmore. I'm a mother of 14-year-old identical twins, both of whom now have DD services. And I'm a writer and I research Medicaid and kind of learn a lot about that through being motivated by my kids and learn how the system works. So happy to be here and very glad to invite two new members to the board. We need some new energy, so thank you for being here.
I think I'm the last one, Amy Butler, she, her pronouns. I have been with the county for just about 5 years. And I think for the past 3, I've been the liaison for the DD Advisory Council. So you've already talked to me a lot, and welcome. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we established quorum, it sounds like. And we need to approve the minutes from October, is it October or November?
October.
October. We had a little conflict last time to remind the public in ways of some wording about pushing a letter to foster homes where I was asking for 2 weeks of inclusive education past the legislative days to put certain concept out there, and unfortunately, it was written up in a way that I'm not quite remembering, but I asked the department to make some changes to remind them that I asked for the vote for the council before the filing date in ways that could help, move up the conversation. I'm trusting fully within the department that they made that change. And I'm hoping that we can approve the agenda minute for October 28th, 2024. Do we have a first or second, or what way of Robert's rule order should we need to check those again? Okay. Oh, if anyone sees any objection, I hear no objection, so it sounds like it's been approved as presented. Right? Yeah. Okay. So October minutes have been approved. Yeah.
So I can quickly do the DD council applicants. We had 4 that were approved, 2 are not here today. Anne Wilkinson and Chris, I'm gonna butcher her last name, Geoff. Anyway, she'll pronounce it correctly next time she's here. We got the notification that the Board of County Commissioners approved them last week, so it was pretty quick in getting the invites out. So anyway, we will see them next time. Yeah, so that's what we have. We have 4 new members total, and Lisa's not here, but she has been she's been reapproved. So hers is now through 12/1/27.
Thank you for that due diligence. Thank you for the update. Bylaws,
I think there's a program update. It's very hidden under here, but
an update on program, but I didn't know Kim was ready.
Kim, are you up to that? Do you want us to move to the next one for now, or?
I'm not even sure what Stacy and I were gonna go over for sure. Sorry. I know that we were gonna talk about, I think we were gonna talk about audit and some stuff, but without her here to help support that, I don't know, Amy, actually, you might have as much detail as Stacy, but
I think that was the biggest thing, was just we got audited in November. We get audited every couple of years. This was our audit year, well, then of 2024. So we are still going through some corrections and things. So it's going to be like another probably 60 days before things are final. What we do know is that we have some areas that we need to do more training in. There are a couple of things that popped up, like guardianship documentation. So having a couple of things on file, making sure some of our documentation is complete, things like that. Nothing egregious, but things that we definitely need to to train on, for sure. There's
Yeah, revisit some training on some things. So they were there are things that are timeline specific that we usually have. I mean, timelines are difficult, caseloads are high, and so there are sometimes timelines that will get missed, and so we recognize that we would like to be 100% perfect all the time, and sometimes that doesn't happen. So making sure that like all every file has a notification of rights. Um, Sometimes that one gets missed. There things like that. So not exceptional number of things. So we're very happy about that. Progress notes. We're excited about that we were at like 99% accuracy, 98% accuracy in that, which means that of all the progress notes that they reviewed, only two of them that they identified that we submitted for billing purposes, they identified or determined that they were not, didn't reach a billable status. And so what I can say is last year, the last time we had it, we were at 97%. And then previous to that, though, we were like at 87%. So we are very happy with the progress that we've made in that respect and the hard work that our supervisors and case managers are doing in improvement with that.
which
with
is
that,
also, oh, go ahead.
just in that capacity.
I was going to add to you that one thing that's really remarkable about that also is that the last time that we did our audit, we had about 50 to 60 employees, I think, and this time around we had 90 something.
Oh, wow.
So we've hired a large amount of our Clackamas DD workforce in the past 2 years, like close to half, not quite, but that's really significant too. So to not have, that many findings is pretty awesome, all
Yeah,
things considered.
I think what we determined was that something like 40% of our staff have been hired since COVID. So in a very short period of time, we've exponentially grown. So just thinking about the learning curve for people and the number of people that have had to learn this job over that small period of time, and then going through an audit with people that young in their career. So it's just various things, but ultimately, I guess we were pretty happy with the outcome. So feeling like the team is doing well considering that. So that is the program update. But like Yumi said, they completed the audit in November. We finally got our corrective action plan in December. We got back, we had an opportunity to dispute findings. We didn't really have anything that we disputed. And so they sent us our finalized corrective action plan on January, I don't remember, just a week or
Actually,
so.
just like a week ago, yeah.
It was like a week ago that we got it. So we have 60 days from the date we received it to complete all of the remediation activities, which the greater portion of all of those activities, if it isn't completing or obtaining documentation, is training. It's identifying training for staff. So
Shasta had a question.
Absolutely. And my question, but please, Tasha.
Thank you. So I'm curious how the funding came about to have 90 people when previously you had 50 people.
So it is the budget every year that we, when the budget comes through, we are identified how many new employees or how many employees can be obtained, and being able to hire up, hiring takes time. Getting employees takes time. So even as we're trying to hire, we don't always get people coming through. So we're not filling vacancies fully all the time. So we're always trying to catch up. So the funding is, um,
Can you help me explain the funding pathway? Is this coming through ODDS or is it
yeah,
county
it's,
funds?
no, we have zero county funds. There
Okay.
is no county investment in our program other than the county is the
Yeah.
the processor. So it is all ODDS funding, state Medicaid funding.
Mhm. And that's based on population
Yeah.
or? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Our population growth, um, when I started, we were serving around uh, um around 1,200 people. We're currently serving about 3,200, 3,300 people right now
Mhm.
in Clackamas County.
And that's
Okay.
just at our CDDP, right? That's not including
No,
overages.
no, that's across, I'm pretty sure that's across, let me look at those. I'll pull those numbers up. Because there's 800 and something in the brokerage.
Thought we were close to, yeah, 4,000.
Okay. So Mike, any other questions out in the?
I'm sorry.
I'm asking if there's any other questions to our other members right now. I don't see his hand up. Do you have a question? All right.
No, that's all the program updates that I have right at the moment.
Okay, well, I would love to hear more later in the next month one, Kim, as I understand that is something. My question is, how can we help you be on time in ways of those reports? You're getting better, but there are still 2 or 3 or, those type of things that some people might gather and try to point out in ways to do that. How can we help you in ways of department resources as a council, make you on time in ways that will hopefully be a positive, net positive, in ways that had, my last part of the question, one more follow-up after that. My last part of that question is, were there 2 that were, questioned, were the client, approached themselves with those, with the back and forth communications within those 2 clients that may have had issues, were they directly communicated with?
So, in answer to the first question, how can you help us be on time? So I think that some of what we're experiencing is caseload growth. And I'm caseload growth, high caseloads, along with helping people with the kind of back to the field, back to getting back out into the field and back into homes, and those getting what's the word I want to say? When we're doing monitoring, it's about monitoring. This is very much in the minutia, so bear with me, but it's about monitoring and getting monitorings done out in the homes and having it not only helping service coordinators understand the importance of that. Yeah, you have to go back out. You have to be in the field. You have to go to people's homes, and helping people also understand service coordinators are going to be back out and they do actually need to come into your home or do need to meet with you. I mean, that's part of the service. And so some people are not identifying that as a priority, right? I don't need to set up these times. I don't, it's a reestablishing what it really means to have case management and coming out and meeting with you and being in your home.
Check and balances and beyond. I understand a little bit of that language.
So I don't know, John, honestly, what the answer is, other than maybe us understanding how we can work with families and work with individuals who are working with service coordinators around what that looks like for people coming back out and being back in people's space. Because that is one of the things, right? So that might be a thing. otherwise, I'm honestly not sure what
That
help.
was my other question. I would like to ask, when was that last test taken when the percentages were down? Was it in 2023, 21? When was that last? You said that you guys improved greatly with, the staffing up, upkeep with the staff, but there were percentages that were raised. When was the last test given? Was it 2 years ago?
I don't know what you mean by test, John.
But not test, but a last report or
Last audit. Last audit.
last audit, thank you.
So
2 years, right?
So if you're talking about our progress notes, we've been improving every audit, so every 2 years.
Yeah.
So
That's
our
all I need to hear for now.
Yeah.
I'll go through that stuff now. Thank you.
and just a second, I saw Amy raising her hand. Did you have a question for me?
Yeah, I just was looking at our last caseload, so 2796 as of 1/1/25, so that's how many are enrolled in Clackamas County DD program, so we had about 1,000 previously, so we're at 2796, so almost 2,800. And then just over 900 in brokerage, so that's like about 3,700 countywide. The other thing that I was gonna mention with the case management contacts and things like that, we have people that, go on leave for maybe having babies or for other medical stuff. And so caseload coverage is always something that we're trying to work on. And we've recently worked on getting all of our trackers online. The service coordinators have trackers that they use so that whoever's picking up that caseload can pick it up a little bit more smoothly and accurately as far as case management contacts. So I think that's one thing that might affect, our timely contacts.
Thank you. Any follow-up? All right. Looks like you guys need about 100 more employees. Under the, if I'm doing the math correctly.
Right.
So the next part of the questions is bylaws and possible another discussion to have with bylaws. I don't know how in depth we do it. I know when I worked with the self-advocate who was very, focused, and it was bylaws were already made. It took hours. We can go back to 2010 and just pass up the whole bylaw, but that's not. I'm worried about that a little bit. So I'm hoping that we can have a discussion to maybe try to make a subcommittee for the bylaws and how we can maneuver that type of conversation. If that can be in ways that we can look on an annual plan. And then I will, go finish my term here, and then we can continue on with that conversation of bylaws and other aspects. So if you can help me with that language, Amy or Kim, I would love to try to move forward with the discussion on the bylaw subcommittee. And then work on that annual plan so we get out by 6 o'clock and not just try to, go word to word, and then also maybe on the onboarding process with Rudy and try to help them through their process, the voting members of the advisory.
John, I think maybe Sarah could possibly also help us with that conversation, because
Yeah.
Probably good.
Yes, so as a council, we wanted to discuss creating a subcommittee for the bylaws. That way it didn't take up a large portion of our meetings every month, and it could really take on the attention to detail that we feel like it should. And so John and I wanted to kind of take it to the council and see what you all thought about creating a subcommittee that would get together individually, separately from our monthly meetings to go over and review the bylaws, and then come back and advise us all as a council on the changes that we feel like we should make. So does anybody want to kind of weigh in and give us some feedback on what you think about that? And who would be interested in joining a subcommittee and taking that on?
I would.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good idea. I don't have the capacity to join it, unfortunately.
What's that?
I'm happy to send along the edits that I made on the bylaws last June for review. I'm not interested in joining a subcommittee. I'm feeling kind of frustrated overall at the lack of progress on this council. I'm not really feeling like I can commit much more time.
Yeah. Same thing here, a lot of responsibilities. But yeah,
Okay. So then as a council, do we just wanna tackle them bit by bit, at each monthly meeting? How would you?
I wonder if, so Shasta and Lyra and, Sarah Lambert. So Shasta, you sent those already to us. I'm fairly confident, at least twice, probably.
they made the note they wanted it approved June, July. Please read it, what I'm saying. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
So I'm wondering if just like a couple people want to go back through those edits that Shasta provided and see if there's anything else.
For conversation or later approval.
And then just bring them back for
Mhm.
approval, because I mean, we went through them several times.
We haven't gone in detail, we've been through the,
First half, right? Up to,
at least the mission statement and the position, that's all.
So
Nothing.
from notes, we in June went through up to Article 6.
yeah, that's what I thought.
And then we kind of didn't have much more time, but we really only have one paragraph and a few words after that. So
Okay.
we
And I've
could,
been asking to do bylaws since like the first meeting or second meeting.
I think Bruce might want to say something.
Hey Bruce,
Okay.
good to hear from you.
No, I'm just right now I'm just listening.
Okay, sorry.
You know, going through and editing kind of constitutional documents for organizations is stuff that I've done before. I'm happy to look at them. If you're looking for a couple of people to go through, or depending on how often a subcommittee would meet, I would be willing to do that. Just spending a lot of time on groups like this, you know, splitting off and getting things done, and then bringing back reports is always a good thing. It allows us to spend time on more pressing issues. So
Yeah,
I'm happy to do and be part of whatever's most helpful. Like if that group met a lot, that would be difficult for me. But I am happy to be part of it.
Bruce, thank you very much. I think I wanted to point out to the new members in particular, when this council came back together and everything, we came from a fresh start. And so we were kind of doing the backlog of the work of the county in ways to try to do the pressing issues that are happening. I will say I did see a lovely agenda that Alexa Lambert put in ways to try to move forward that conversation. But there was a lot of trying to get back to where we were, to where we are, and where the future will be. And that's one of my talents at the time, in trying to figure out where to go on that and how to move forward. Because I do believe in what the future may be holding, give or take, personal priorities, and how we can move forward that. So I apologize for taking time. I do want to remind the public, I asked for votes for bylaws, I believe. There's certain things I've asked for, but we just could not get to that next level until today. So I appreciate the patience. I'm happy you didn't have to wait till August to be on this council. I was worried about that, but it's great to see you, Leah, and others as we move forward. Please continue. Thank you for letting me explain that.
Oh, sure, no problem. I mean, I'd love to put a deadline, because I feel like we don't want to get this done. So it'd be really nice to say, by March, we should have some edits approved and be able to move on with this. And Shasta, I share your frustration at times, with direction and getting things done. So I just feel like if we had a couple individuals, looking it over, get it done, approved, and as a council, say by March or April, whatever everybody feels comfortable with, that would be great. And then I didn't receive edits, so I'm not sure if.
I didn't receive, I don't believe,
Shasta,
may have been an email.
Shasta, did you say you emailed your edits out?
so that was in June, so you've probably forgotten by now.
Okay, I was thinking maybe it was something
So
newer.
I will send
I
it,
got
I'm
those,
sending
yes.
it again right now, so you guys
Okay,
can
you got it? Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
So Ann Wilkinson, Chris Goff
Thank you.
are a part of the council now, and then Malika Renard is not anymore, right?
She's one of our staff members.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's sick as well, so she's not here today, but she'll
Okay.
be taking notes
I'm
and minutes and
copying it
things.
to
Okay.
everyone. Okay.
I don't think this one needs an outreach for self-advocates, but I will remind the council, I would love to try to follow up. I will need more than one reminder every few months, you know, so, and I will be on personal leave and another type of leave in the month ahead, but I will try to make this a priority where I can. And when my schedule allows, as I try to
So,
navigate through life and services, so. That's my comment for self-advocates in particular, and hopefully other voices will be present in the future when we do these types of things. As we, you know, have subcommittee and outreach and other ideas within our mission statement.
okay, so that one, if we did a subcommittee, I mean, it sounds like with what Shasta's offering up and stuff, it would probably only be one meeting. Should only be one meeting, getting together, finalizing language and sending it out, and saying here's for review at our next meeting for
I
approval.
haven't looked over it yet, quite frankly, in ways that I did, best I could.
Again, John,
But
you could have time to review it, and if you wanted to be on that subcommittee, then being a part of it, look at it, and then be ready for setting a meeting so that it could be reviewed at our next, you know, it could be ready for the next meeting.
Yeah, exactly. To answer Bruce's question, I don't think it would require necessarily even a physical meeting, and it could be just an email chain, maybe if a Zoom call, if that makes it easier for certain individuals or not, one time. And Shasta, you've already put in your input. It would be great if with Shasta, your input. I know that Sarah Schwartz has said she's interested in that. Bruce and Lyra both saying that. I mean, if the four of you and Shasta, what you've already contributed, wanted to just read it over, have, you know, a quick conversation, and then we can approve it, that would be fantastic.
The only thing I would say out of consideration of those that aren't here today is
Okay.
maybe send out an email to let them know what your guys' plans are so that they can hop in and join in the efforts if they want to.
Perfect.
And I don't know verbally, you know, since I'm a verbal person, and I may be sort of careful, but if there could be a county rep, you know, just even over hearing while they're doing the email would be great, you know, just doing that. I don't know any other members here, new members that might need accommodation within, you know, email chain and how that things go and other ideas, but I will advise the county, we do need to outreach, but we have to remind them to self-advocate in ways that they may or may not have had that type of experience in their daily living. And so I'm not asking for a full accommodation, but I am heavily worried for future people with disabilities in some of the fastness that people want to go to. Even though they're trying to accommodate throughout this, the proximity of topics being talked about. Thank you. So I think we have at least one time, and then we'll figure that out on my side. And if any other members that need to hop on to that call with disabilities, you know, please communicate.
Is there any way we could get like a TDLR for us newer members of the things you guys are discussing? Because like I feel a little lost.
Yes.
And we're doing a lot of back work right now, Lydia, and that's why I'm trying to include certain conversation spaces right now.
Yes, Lyra, we will include you in the email and everything so that you know what we're talking about 100%. Because for new members coming in, with the bylaws and whatnot, you haven't had a chance to review them, I'm assuming.
I don't know if you have a copy yet, actually.
They do.
I don't they do.
Right, so we'll have to email you a copy and you can look over them, ask questions, things like that. So
I'm assuming I had just received an email actually while you guys were talking that I'm assuming is what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask, it said the sections in blue have been approved, but I'm not seeing any of the text being in blue or highlighted or anything.
Exactly. And we did the first couple of sentences, like the mission statement and position statement. Yeah, but we need to work on, like another advocacy angle, we need to work on the language of what you feel they should be as we move forward as a council in ways of opportunities or opinions.
Lyra,
So
I'll
review them and maybe put in your opinions on what you would like. Yes, that's if that was you speaking, I apologize.
sorry. Lyra, I'll send a screenshot so that you guys can see the text that I can see with the full word. I think we've had a number of discussions on this council about how to work remotely together. Because there's, some people like Google Docs and some people like Word, and there's not really a good solution that we found yet.
Updating
I
every
can
couple
see
of
on
weeks.
my screen, can share it right now and we could go through it, but if that's not the desire of the council, then I'll just send screenshots so at least you can see
Yeah,
what
that'd
I
be
see
fine.
as being blue and red.
Right. Thank you very much.
Should we-
Yeah, I just for the record, I put an accommodation that every couple of weeks, put a PDF file in there. Rather than Google Docs, it's very difficult for myself in public records and other things. It's not a no to Google Docs, but it's also trying to figure out ways to have a life outside of this and this. I don't have an email for Clackamas County. I don't have an email for a nonprofit. I don't have an email for, it's another aspect to help myself navigate through the system. There's no resource association to even go to ways that are more financial things. So I'm just trying to figure out ways to communicate with the county and council and public as we navigate through the system. Okay.
What's the next topic?
Should we pause and just introduce the new members to Stacy? They may not know who
That's
she
a
is.
good middle, like,
Sorry,
absolutely.
my tardiness.
That was you.
So, Stacy, we have Bruce and Lyra. Those are 2 out of our 4 new members.
Hi, Bruce. Hi, Lyra. Nice to meet you all. My name is Stacy Mullins. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the other program manager alongside Kim Coda in the DD program. I have primary oversight over intake, eligibility, the ONA assessment team, children's services, policy, stuff like that. Kim and I share oversight over the whole thing, but we have also primary areas that we focus on. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. Looking forward to meeting you hopefully in person one day.
Really good. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely it's important. Definitely doing the homework, hopefully.
Do we want to move on to the annual plan development?
Yeah, I'm for the annual plan in ways of trying to navigate that to a point in ways of where we need to go, our conversation. The only thing that
Want to explain to maybe new members what the annual plan is?
I would love to know what the objective is, because I've asked for multiple examples over the last year or 2. But my guess is how we move this to council in ways of the yearly objectives of how we can put our input and contribute. Please, Jen.
Yeah, so we as a council have talked about having some sort of yearly agenda so that we know what's coming up. We can be more productive, more organized, and accomplish some things. And so it was in October, I had email requested a bunch of ideas of what everybody would like to discuss or learn about or et cetera. And we kind of put together a list from everyone, and then I have tentatively made a yearly agenda, which I haven't emailed out yet because I assumed that there could be some feedback that we'd want to tweak before I emailed it out to the council. So if you bear with me, I just printed out a copy. but I have laid out February, March, April, May topics that came up per our group discussion. And for the new members, I would love to have your input as we, kind of trek along in this year. If you have other topics that you would like the council to consider. I've left June and September and October pretty open. I didn't put anything in there just in case things come up. I wanted to give us the freedom to be able to address other topics. But what I have down currently, so a general program update and requests for collective input every month, which should be short like it was today. Council updates from us from previous meetings, really short and sweet, 5 minutes or so, just so that we don't miss anything. A time for pressing community concerns. So if somebody on the council knows of something in the community in our county that we should consider and discuss, I wanted to leave some space for that too. But then, and you'll see this when I email it out to you guys later this evening, there's little asterisk marks on the main topics of discussion. So for February, I had put discuss any legislative sessions that we wanted to be a part of in 2025. If I remember correctly, in October, we had discussed no more than 2 a year because we didn't want to be heavy in legislation. But we know that like we all have some sort of interest in that at some, area or another. And then I just put education on different service models, trainings, placement, eligibility barriers, county barriers with providing services in for February. And I don't know if you want me to read them all off to you. I'm happy to do that. Or if you want me to email it out, but I basically set 2 topics of discussion that we had agreed upon as a council in each month. I tried to take into consideration. In April, I had put the resource fair. I don't know if I needed to move that up to March or if April would be good. I know last time we talked, we didn't have a date, so I wasn't sure. You do have a date. Okay, yay. So I had put the resource fair for us to discuss. There was mention of community outreach. I'd love for the council to do something to reach out to the community. And so that's for discussion in April. I had put, in March, the abuse reporting system update. I'd love to get an update on what is happening there, Shasta, and anybody else that's been working with you on that. Discussions with the IDD program on how or if the adult 1915 Medicaid waiver is affecting the county is also in March. In May, I left room for another abuse reporting system update in case something new comes from that. Follow up on legislation and legislative updates. And if by May we don't have the bylaws agreed upon, which I'm hoping so, we will have an update in May. And so that's just kind of like a snapshot overview. The goal for personally would be to have council members pick certain topics, maybe the ones that they brought to the council and take the lead on that, bring the council some information, answer questions, do the research. It would be fantastic if you kind of looked ahead a month or two, pre-wrote down or submit in an email chain questions you have about upcoming topics so that maybe we can answer them while we're in our meetings. Just trying to be more productive and trying to kind of be organized is the goal of our yearly plan. Obviously, it's open to moving around if something pressing comes up, but this is just to give us a general kind of guidance in where we're going to go for this next year. So any questions or comments, I'm open. You won't hurt my feelings, so weigh in.
Sarah Schwartz?
I'm sorry, can you clarify? Did you say the abuse registry, is that pushed off to May?
No, I have it in March, and then I've left room again in May in case more updates come in. It's just an update. So in March, I'd love to hear an update, and also in May, like just some time for that. So anything that's coming, obviously during our council updates, if there's some every month, we have 5 minutes or whatever for little updates. So if something needs to come up in between, there is space for that every month.
Can I make a request that we push that as quickly as we can, just because it's abuse. We want to try to, get that moving forward so we can try to protect people.
Yeah, I have my own abuse reporting gripes.
Hmm.
So it was my
The
understanding
reason-
that we'd already
The,
voted for.
yeah, the reason why I put February, Sarah and Leah, was because I knew pressing issues were on the family paid parent issue, and there's 2 or 3 members on it. That, or maybe yourself or others, I don't know, it's not my business, but I thought that was, more pressing in ways that February 4th or, other, information after, legislative process in ways that can put SB 91 up front and understand how how we as a council, if you would like to push it down to March or April or May, that's, after the decision of the council, but that's the reason why I put in, or my suggestion was put in February, to appease, other members of the council, but if we want to push it, I'm fine with the vote, whatever direction the council would like to go on abuse reporting.
Well, I think they're both very, very important issues that we need to do whatever we can to address and move forward as much as we can. I have to state my frustration that we learned about the lack of an abuse registry back in April. So it's been quite a long time since we first thought about it, started talking about it, trying to figure out what we could do. And it just feels like we're not really moving forward. And I would love to see that happen this year. And so let me know, let us know, those of us who presented, Shasta has the letter, let us know what we can do to help move that forward in any way. Thank
So
you.
I thought it was my understanding that you have moved forward with it, reaching out to other counties to try to get.
The agreed council idea. We thought we've already done that.
It was correct me if I'm wrong, I could totally be wrong, but it's my understanding, John, that we were actually waiting on you to talk, to meet with you and discuss how we could have a self-advocate voice in the wording of the letter. So that, I believe, Shasta, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that that's where we are at this point.
Me in December, so I needed to get up on that, and that was on me in some ways of other life happening, but that's on me. But I also don't think that having a meeting in Washington County on the behalf without my voice being there is very, very convenient for the timing in ways of how we moved forward with it at the time. So like I said, today's the first day that we get to speak on that. And I am thankful that the meetings outreach will happen in our mission statement. And I'm definitely willing to, but I also wanted someone from the county also. It's very hard when you have a culture that allows that everything has to be done before you have a voice. And when you have that type of culture within, even what I put even in this council, it makes it very hard to maneuver, those type of conversations as we move forward with the Department of Justice, while we move forward within voices of power leadership. And hopefully when we have a meeting with people like Lily on how self-advocates have a voice, we don't have to say that others have the voice before we even get that information sometimes.
Right. And I think we're at a point where we welcome no, I shouldn't say at a point. We have always been at the point where we welcome your voice. We welcome your input. We see the importance and value of having a self-advocate voice in this issue, but we just want time to meet so we can start hashing it out and getting it.
I appreciate your due diligence in between the other parts of life in the way that the culture was. So I will be up top. I will say that I need to do it in the next 2 weeks, and would love to have someone on the county side in ways of just doing emails, overhear it as we move forward, and probably 15-20 minutes, we get that portion done.
Yeah, or I'm certainly happy to meet in person. I just my daughter's having surgery next month, so I'm going to be out of pocket for a little bit then, but I'd be happy to meet in person as well.
I don't feel like talking in public, but I think we have similar timelines, okay?
Okay.
Shasta.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I'm getting pretty close to quitting this council because we've been asking for your input since July, and there keeps being some reason why we're not doing it the right way. and
Fine, that's
I'm
fine, Justin, you're here right now. It is, sometimes when you put in concepts, 8 months ago, in ways of how committees and the conversation space is going and where it's gonna go within foster homes, it does make it very hard when we don't have that information present. And we are the ones in the lead and trying to understand what direction's going. Now I know there's a healthcare committee for the Senate. Now I know there's a children behavior services committee for the Senate. So I mean, I know that, certain placeholder bills are there now in ways of how that conversation is gonna go for Clackamas County and how we are gonna continue that relationship as those concepts and changes may or may not happen, those who may or may not have the power. So it does take a lot of time to understand where the conversation is going and ways to try to understand how we can communicate within those spaces. So that's something that I feel comfortable now pointing out what I need to point out, but I was unable to get that information 8 months ago. While others may or may not have had that type of conceptual direction. So now I understand where we're going with it with Clackamas County in ways of how we navigate, how those in power are making decisions on foster home, Department of Justice, to other committee meetings, justice committees, and now how we move forward to that conversation space. So it was a learning process on my side, but you have to realize those with self-advocates, they're supposed to not do anything until everything's done. So you're dealing with a cultural thing also. But then that space, when you have self-advocates stand down, don't do anything, to the culture to stand down and don't do anything because we have it taken care of and other things. Now, on my outside life, it is hard, but I understand that.
Chair, did you get my email from December 2nd asking for a meeting and offering several times for that meeting?
Several times, for one time, I only saw once. And now it's only
Maybe 4 different times that we could meet for that.
Okay. Well, like I said, it is trying to read what's happening in the future within placeholder bills and concepts. And it is trying to figure out how to advise Clackamas County as a self-advocate and recognize I'm only one voice of the self-advocate role in the bylaws. There's no other self-advocate things in the bylaws. And that's something that may or may not need to be discussed in the future of the bylaws also.
Question, so is the issue just that there was currently only one self-advocate available to help with this, or?
Yeah, at least on my portion, yeah, Leah, I had to read different environments, different places and different ideas within this letter of intention. It's been also given to Washington County and Multnomah County. And we've already pre-planned those meetings in a way.
Okay, because I just wanted to say I am also a self-advocate who's also in DD services.
But yeah, so I took it a little bit slow to understand where the context is. Now I know where we are. I'm definitely willing and can be absolutely. Like I said, it's hard to do it behind the scenes in ways because I do think there should be a county rep. And that's another thing that's maybe harder to try to communicate because we are public figures. And it's hard when media personalities, say that they should be behind, the hallways. And I'm trying to understand what I've been taught in school with the reality of, government work and how we move forward with that. And definitely when government officials get in trouble for doing stuff in the hallways, it makes it a little bit.
I'm really getting tired of being accused of going behind the council's back. This was a subcommittee that we agreed on.
That's not what I'm saying, Sasha. What I'm saying
certainly sounds like what you're saying.
What I said is what I've been taught in school. Oregon Association of Broadcasters, other aspects. I am not you. I'm trying to understand the culture. And it's very hard when I see two different sides do two different things in some ways, in ways of certain aspects of the context of the career. So anyhow, I'm definitely, like I said, I wanted to go in front if I knew that was a legal thing, but I don't know what's legal as a public official of the council. And now I've already pointed that out many times. And I have an idea now, we can talk about stuff now a little bit, but I don't know where the levels are. And that's what, going up to a meeting in wherever land, I don't know what is in that context, because I know I am, like when I'm with the committee at the governor's office, I know I can't speak anything on it. So I've already done this routine in ways of trying to say I need to know the boundaries, but it's very hard when you say just do it yourself. And then you may or may not need the other perspectives within providers and other aspects. So that's what I'm having a hard time trying to get through it.
Sarah's very embraced.
Please, Sarah Schwartz.
Oh, you're on mute.
Go ahead. And I want to
Sorry, yep, still muted. I'd like to fill in Bruce and Lyra very quickly on what we're talking about. If that's okay with everybody. So we discovered the council invited someone from the oh, sorry, please tell me the name of the committee. It's the of the office.
It's our abuse investigations office. So Developmental Disabilities does investigations of allegations of abuse for people with adults with developmental disabilities.
So I had a question because my daughter is 21 and we are looking at some point in terms of where she will live when she does not live with her dad and me. And I ask, how do we find out? How does a parent find out, or another caregiver? How do we find out whether or not there's been an allegation of abuse or founded abuse against a foster home, a group home, another setting? And there is no such registry, but there is a registry for elders, for seniors, but not one for people with disabilities. So where we are in the process is Shasta wrote a letter and to start the process of requesting this for the state. So we are looking at how to proceed. Shasta had the opportunity to go and speak to the Washington County, correct me if I'm wrong, Shasta, but the Washington County DD Council. And, but we have not moved
After
forward.
a vote of the council, I want to be really clear that the council voted that I could do that.
Yeah. The council voted for Shasta to move forward with that. And where we are right now is just making sure that the language in the letter has a self-advocate voice in it. And so we're trying to get that going and then try to start moving forward and requesting this. Shasta, could you mention about the fact that it wouldn't be like there's already a registry in place, and so it's not a whole new system that they have to set up?
Yeah, I put a copy of or a link to the document in the chat, and there's a link, hot link in the letter that links to the abuse reporting website that already exists for long-term care settings for elder care, but there isn't a similar website for IDD settings. So we're just asking for parity there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be very interested in being involved with that. I myself have been waiting over a year to hear back about a abuse report that I made against a county worker. And then when I had Disability Rights Oregon, an attorney from there, reach out to them about my abuse report, they basically said that it seems that no one actually filed the abuse report that I made.
That'll be great, Linda. I'm looking forward to that. I think also, yeah, it's been very difficult because I don't know what a self-advocate can do versus a parental or guardianship at the time. And it was very hard to navigate where one group has certain power. And I do think that is the yearly goal right now of the council, making these letters and presenting them to people of power in ways of how we are directing this, and also the multi communications with other advisory councils. And so that's something that's been on my mind in ways of trying to move forward these conversations, basically. Because that sounds like where we're going for the future, and try to, do 10 of these per quarter. And I can definitely see that in the future as a self-advocate and for the way that the council have progressed the last 6 to 8 months on this.
So what can I, if I can ask, what can the county do to support you in getting to the next step of this?
I just think having someone that can hear, a conversation over here while they're doing other emails would help a lot, because it does help if there is something that I'm not doing right as a chairperson or as a member of self-advocate community, because the way that people have navigated some of this, there are some concerns. And I can't mention them here because it's unattainable understanding.
So is that a meeting, Shasta, you offered a meeting with John, or does that still stand? Obviously, the dates would need to be changed if that was still an option, and then.
And it's not
We can figure
I
out-
want to point out, it's not accusing of one
Not
member.
at this point, if he has some language changes that he wants to make, he can either email it or he and Sarah can meet together. I'm not willing to spend any more time on this letter.
Yeah, but we also need to know who to give it to.
Are you meaning me, Sarah, or Sarah Schwartz?
Sure.
I would, Sarah Lambert, I would welcome you at that meeting as well. I think that because we've been at an impasse in terms of making sure the language is inclusive in the letter. I just think that we need to get that done and start moving forward. And for me, I will tell you, this is going to be a learning process for me in terms of who do we send it to? What's the most effective way to get the information out there? Whose voices do we need to have, including self-advocate voices? Whose voices do we need to have in this to bring it to the attention of the state and say this is really important to families and self-advocates across the state?
I think we're getting there. It's been very difficult navigating when you hear Department of Justice, when you hear certain other languages over the months, it's not going there. I have to find that out. But yeah, we can agree it to that level, we can agree it to the county level, but it's not knowing where we are traditionally versus how we navigate towards the objectives that may or may not be known to what is known as a council. So I appreciate going through this, but again, I would advise the Clackamas County. I do think having letters and cross-county relationships are important in the way that they're navigating. That's actually compliments to Sasha in ways of how we navigate these conversations.
Okay, so would it be helpful if or do you want to send out potential invites to John, Sarah, Lyra? I think I heard you say yes. And me?
I'd like to get done in the next 2 weeks.
Either one. I can send an email invite. I'll be part of that.
Well, and I'd say Colleen and Bruce, if you're interested in attending as well.
Should we do the doodle poll thing? I don't know what the official level is, knowing that all state workers can't go through.
It doesn't have to be everyone. If there's certain people interested that just want to focus on getting this letter revised, get it in, get it done.
And we don't have,
that would be great.
Like I mentioned, we don't have any resource negotiation to go to. We can't go to factor again because we don't have parents. In ways, we can't just go to other organizations because we are not parents. So there are a lot of organizations that we can go to ask questions like, hey, how do you travel to Washington? At this event, or how about parking at the Capitol? Stuff like that, where other people are led with that information, and people who are self-advocates are sometimes not allowed to because of certain rules and regulations. So that's something that is very much on my mind within this conversation, because it would be easy to have the mentors and other aspects as we navigate.
John, not to cut you off, but we're getting into the weeds on stuff and we need to keep moving. We have like 20 minutes left and we're spinning right now. So if we could move on, I'd appreciate it.
I appreciate that, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen.
And it actually moves into the open for council and discussion.
With the first comment.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna invite the next 4 minutes to our new members if they have any ideas.
Actually, John, it's the resource fair is up next.
Oh, the resource fair? Fine, that's fine.
Just to wrap up the annual plan development, I just quickly sent out what you gave us in the meeting to everybody. So if you received a really quick, short email from me, that's what was handed out in the meeting that you didn't get a physical copy of. So that's all that is. Only thing I was gonna mention.
The update. Probably. For the resource fair?
Yes. So resource fair, we did one last year. Many of you attended or knew about it or had some sort of engagement with that. We have a date. It's going to be Saturday, June 21st. We are going to keep the same location, the Gregory Forum. We're going to try a couple different things to get the sound to be better. That was the main issue last year. So we are going to try and work on a few different layout things to make it better. And I think we have also the opportunity to have potentially have about 10 to 12 more community partners there this year. So that's going to be very exciting. I did schedule a meeting just today for staff to kind of talk about, you know, what this fair might look like for staff. Would you all like to be included on any of the planning stuff? If so, do you want to send me an email or maybe raise your hand so I know who wants to be involved in that?
I do. Okay. You said June 21st, right?
Saturday, June 21st.
Awesome.
And just for those of you, last year we had a couple people from our council host a table and recruit some new members and interest. So just a nice way to share that information. Sarah.
Oh, just saying I could probably help out as well.
Great.
Thank you.
So how, Amy?
Amy, we may want to talk about
Oh.
the use of the chat too, but in this meeting, we don't typically use the chat because it is recorded and so it has to be available for public comment. So just FYI. But as far as wheelchair accessible, Amy, do you want to speak to that and the Gregory Forum?
Yes, Lara, the Gregory Forum, I'm not sure if you've been to Clackamas Community College.
I have not.
Okay. It is accessible by bus pretty easily. It's up here at the top of the hill in Oregon City.
Well, I meant inside, like the event. Like, are they going to make
Yes.
sure it's wheelchair
Yes.
accessible?
Yes,
Like
yes.
getting by the different booths or whatever, how it's set up.
Yes.
Yes.
So we did that last year and we will continue to do that this year.
Does have a little step for the way in with wheelchair accessible medium and I don't think it's just the back door. It's in the front door that they can go to.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And then, so Amy, are you going to put together another like group that meets to come up with ideas like last time?
So this will be kind of that.
Same. Okay. So then.
And sorry, I said one more question. Who do
Yeah.
I direct if I have a list of things that I would really like to ask about being added to the agenda? Like, who would I send that to?
Executive team and we want to put Amy on my
Probably both,
Malika. So it'll be the second team of Sheriff Lambert and myself, Amy and Malika in ways to add that to the agenda for the future, okay?
Write that in chat.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Leah, Amy's gonna write our names in the chat for you because I know you're still learning who everybody is.
Yeah, I'm
so-
really bad with names regardless.
Yeah, so when you look through your email thread that you're just getting now tonight, you'll be able to see us. I know, sorry, Kim, I know you said.
Like, is it supposed to be to the attention of one person, or am I supposed to send it to like include everybody in the email, or
The four people that we mentioned.
could I get like an email sent to me with those people tagged?
Yes.
So that way I could
absolutely.
easily.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm trying to remember.
I'll send it right now. My chat's not working anyway, so.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so one thing I did forget is siblings of those with disabilities. I won't go too much because I talked a lot today, but I just saw an incident with a younger individual and either a preteen, a teen, later adult. And I'm very sorry for forgetting those siblings in ways, the little ones doing fist bumps, and you can see the hesitation of the one for, the teenagers being teenagers. And I really am hoping that we can help those siblings in ways that they don't have to be in certain environmental situations, but still support them with disability community. It kind of broke my heart a little bit. And I'm hoping that we can find resources for them throughout the county in ways to how they transition from youth into college, into adulthood. Something just to note for the future as I may or may not step, as I'm stepping down and, moving for the future of how we move the county program and stuff. So that, yeah, there's, Amy will help you with that portion of it. And thank you very much for wanting to put topics up there. And yeah, it's very nice to have a co-chair. It's very
Yeah,
nice to have a co-chair.
I had a list of things that I really wanted to bring to the attention for the IDD program, and that's why I was recommended to join this council.
Love to hear it, definitely.
Bruce, do you kind of get the connection on if you have any ideas or who to contact if you had any?
Yeah, I know who I should send those to if that comes up. Like I said, right now I'm just kind of listening, trying to figure out where I fit.
All right, well, I can't wait to hear, and if it's quicker than quick, good. If not, I understand, it's great to see you there. I appreciate all you guys' time, every single one of you.
Right.
And what role does this group have in connection to like ODDS, like as far as advising?
Okay, you want to talk about commissioner or do you?
No, I mean, this group advises the county program, not ODDS directly.
Okay.
But some of the activities the group decides to participate in may be giving information, sending requests, maybe giving information to ODDS. However, the role of the council is to advise the county program.
But what if some of the things in the county program are like controlled by ODDS?
Yes, exactly. So some activities, like we're talking about this letter, could certainly go on to like ODDS. But as a, that's what you all decide as a council to do. Outside of that, your primary role is to advise the county program.
Yes. It used to be only 3 meetings a year or 4 meetings a year.
The state has an advisory council, ODDS has an advisory council. And then, so they have the state advisory council as well.
Right.
Public comment as we run it down.
Yep, we got public comment. Anyone from the public? All right. I hear none. Okay, do we have a yearly goal? Because that's the main goal of the county today.
I mean, we have this.
All right.
So, but it's going to be open, I would imagine, to some adjustments.
And I'm hoping to make time. I'm very busy right now, but I'm hoping to make time on that. And later that, then we may have to put it on a weekend. I don't know, but we'll see how we can have that conversation within that letter. It is crucial for throughout the process.
Well, and I'm gonna bump that to February.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we gonna do the abuse thing?
Yes. I mean, and forgive me, my understanding was that we'd already voted on it and it was already being taken to like Washington County. I didn't realize that hadn't happened yet, and so my apologies.
They had a meeting, I thought.
I went to the Washington County Council meeting, but I haven't sent the letter to anybody because we were still in this kind of holding pattern.
And so I guess I missed that part. I thought that it was sent. So I will move it to March, or from March to February. And hopefully you guys will be able to get together, or if I'm included in that, and we'll just iron it out.
And I'm so excited to have other people who have lived in experiences. I don't know if they're considered self-advocates in the council, but it's good to have lived in experiences on that side, and it's good to have lived in experiences in other ways also.
John, can you offer us some times and days that work for you? Can we
I
start planning
don't think I
around
can
your
do that in
schedule?
public record in ways of this being on YouTube, but I would gladly give it to you even later tonight, and I'll ask Sarah.
Maybe you can give some to Amy when we're done.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah, however you want to do it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. It's just that, you know, we can't just move to Westland, Lake Oswego, you know, and other places right away. So it's a different situation sometimes. And I think Sarah Gilson made a good point. And, you know, that fear, you know, and how we try to move forward within that conversation space.
Well, I'll come meet you wherever. It's a,
I
you choose.
appreciate it, and I appreciate your generation's kids and the leadership that they provided of what I saw a decade ago, so keep it up. I think I'm gonna close the meeting for now. We got a yearly priority, we got our idea on the bylaws. We have to meet an objective on the foster home thing. And new members, I hope you well, and I can't wait to see you next month, but thank you very much for your time too. We need to vote to close it out, or we done?
All right, motion to end early.
Okay,
To adjourn?
Mhm.
is there a second?
Second.
Awesome, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.